Ok, vamos a hacer el video de la letra A. Alright, sir, man, first I'm going to start with my approach to the track. I'm going to check for leaks, any kind of puddle under the track. There's no motor oil leaks, no transmission oil leaks, and there's no coolant leaks. But there's no leaks at all. Okay, let's continue. Next check is going to be my 5 clearance lights. All of them are properly mounted and secure. They're not cracked, bent, or broken. All my screws present and tight, and also they have the proper color amber. Next check, my windshield seal. It is properly mounted and secure. There's no cuts, bubbles, or abrasions. That seal is to prevent water to go inside my car, so it is good. Next check, my windshield. It is properly mounted and secure. Not cracked, not broken, no chips. There's no illegal stickers. It is in good conditions. Next check, my 2 windshield wipers. They are properly mounted and secure. They're not cracked, bent, or broken. And also I have to make sure that my seal is in good condition, no cuts, bubbles, or abrasions. Next check, my door mirrors and also my hood mirrors. All of them are properly mounted and secure. They're not cracked, bent, or broken, and all our nuts and bolts are present and tight. Next check is my hood and grille. They're properly mounted and secure, not cracked, bent, or broken. There's no debris or trash in my grille. It is clean, and all my screws present and tight. Next check, my signal lights, also emergency lights and reflectors. They are properly mounted and secure. They're not cracked, bent, or broken, and all my screws present and tight. And they have the proper color amber, so they're good. Next check, my headlights, also low beam and high beam. They are properly mounted and secure, not cracked, bent, or broken, and they are clean. Next check, my front bumper. It is properly mounted and secure, not cracked, bent, or broken, and all our nuts and bolts are present and tight. Next check, my license plate. It is properly mounted and secure, not cracked, bent, or broken, nuts and bolts present and tight. It is clean, and it is also up to date according with my registration sticker. Alright, now let's move to the engine. Okay, abres por acá primero porque vas a comenzar por el otro lado. Alright, I'm going to start with my air housing and line. They're properly mounted and secure, not cracked, bent, or broken. All my clamps are present and tight. They're in good conditions. So next check is going to be my exhaust pipe and my turbo. They're properly mounted and secure, not cracked, bent, or broken. Clamp is present and tight, and there's no leaks, so they're good. So next check, my belt-driven alternator. It is properly mounted and secure, not cracked, bent, or broken. All the nuts and bolts are present and tight, so it is in good conditions. And my 2 cables are well connected, and they're in good conditions. They're not cracked, not broken. There's no wire showing, and my nuts and bolts are present and tight. I'm gonna check my belt. It is properly mounted and secure. There's no cuts, bubbles, or abrasions. And also, I have to make sure there is no more than 3/4 of an inch of free play, so it is tight. It's good. Next check, my coolant container. It is properly mounted and secure, not cracked, bent, or broken. All our nuts and bolts are present and tight. There's no leaks. My cap is present and tight, and also I have to make sure that it's filled to correct level, and it is. Next check, my coolant hose. And all the hoses on this side, all of them are properly mounted and secure. There's no cuts, bubbles, or abrasions. All the clamps are present and tight, and there's no leaks, so they're good. Now this hose leads me all the way to my belt-driven water pump, and it is properly mounted and secure, not cracked, bent, or broken. All the nuts and bolts are present and tight, and there's no leaks. And back here I have my motor oil filter. It is properly mounted and secure, not cracked, bent, or broken, and it's not leaking. And down here I have my diesel filter. It is properly mounted and secure, not cracked, bent, or broken, and there's no leaks. It's not leaking. Ma'am, sir, now let's move to the other side. Okay, on this side I'm going to start off with my radiator and all my radiator hoses. They're properly mounted and secure. Radiator is not cracked, bent, or broken. It's not leaking. Hoses are made of rubber, so there's no cuts, bubbles, or abrasions. All the clamps are present and tight, and there's no leaks, so they're good. Next check is my radiator fan. It is properly mounted and secure, not cracked, bent, or broken. And it is in good conditions, and it is also belt driven. Next check is going to be my gear driven air compressor. It is properly mounted and secured, not cracked, bent, or broken. All our nuts and bolts are present and tight, and it's not leaking. All my lines are well connected. Next check, my motor oil dipstick. It is properly mounted and secured, not cracked, bent, or broken. It is in good conditions. Now, if I need to check my motor oil, I gotta take the stick out, clean it, reinsert it, and take it out again, and I have to make sure that it's filled to correct level. If I need more oil, I can always put some more in my filler up here. Alright, next check, my washer fluid container. And this track, this is my washer fluid filler, and my container is under the track. And I have to make sure they're properly mounted and secured, not cracked, bent, or broken, no leaks, all the nuts present and tight, cap present and tight. And the most important, I need to make sure that it's filled to correct level. Okay, ma'am, sir, now I'm gonna move to my power steering system. Okay, I'm gonna start off with my power steering oil container, which is this. It is properly mounted and secured, not cracked, bent, or broken. Nuts and bolts are present and tight. There's no leaks. Cap is present and tight, and also it is filled to correct level, so it's good. Next check is my oil steering hoses. They're properly mounted and secured. There's no cuts, bubbles, or abrasions. All the clamps are present and tight, and there's no leaks, so they're good. And this hose leads me all the way to my gear-driven power steering pump. It's down here, attached with my air compressor. And it is properly mounted and secured, not cracked, bent, or broken. Nuts and bolts present and tight, and there's no leaks, so it is good. Next check, my steering column and my U-joint. They are properly mounted and secured. They're not cracked, bent, or broken. There's no more than 1 inch of play in my steering column, and my U-joint is well lubricated. Next check, my power steering gear box. It is properly mounted and secured, not cracked, bent, or broken. All my nuts and bolts are present and tight, so it is in good conditions. There's no leaks. Next check, my 5-piece steering linkage. This here is my pitman arm, and this is my drag link. Next one, my upper control arm, my lower control arm, and my tie rod. Okay, all of them are properly mounted and secured. They're not cracked, bent, or broken. And all our castle nuts and cotter pins are present and tight. So my steering system is good. Now I'm going to move to my suspension. I'm going to start with my leaf spring mounts or hangers. I have one in the front and I have one more in the back. And both are properly mounted and secured. They're not cracked, bent, or broken. And all my nuts and bolts are present and tight, so they're good. Next check, my leaf springs. They are properly mounted and secured. They're not cracked, bent, or broken. They are straight, no one is missing, so they are in good conditions. Next check, my 2 U-bolts. They are properly mounted and secured. They're not cracked, bent, or broken. And all my U-bolt nuts are present and tight. Next check is my front axle. It is properly mounted and secured, not cracked, bent, or broken. And my axle is not leaking. Next check, my shock absorber and shock absorber mounts are properly mounted and secured, not cracked, bent, or broken. All my nuts and bolts are present and tight, and my shock absorber is not leaking. Next check is the frame. It is properly mounted and secured, not cracked, bent, or broken, and there's no illegal weld, so it is in good condition. Suspension system is good. Now I'm going to move to my brake system. I'm going to start with my brake chamber air hose. It is properly mounted and secured in both ends, and there's no cuts, bubbles, or abrasions, and it's not leaking. Next check, my ABS cable. It is properly mounted and secured, not cracked, not broken. There's no wire showing, so it is in good conditions. Next check is my brake chamber. It is properly mounted and secure, not cracked, bent, or broken. All my nuts and bolts are present and tight, and it's not leaking, so it's good. Next check. Is going to be my push rod and my slack adjuster. They are properly mounted and secure, not cracked, bent, or broken. My pin and quarter pin are present and they're in good conditions. And also, I have to make sure there's no more than 1 inch of play when the brakes are released if I pull it by hand. So they're good. Next check, my brake drum. It is properly mounted and secure, not cracked, bent, or broken, so it is in good conditions. Next check is going to be my brake shoe. It is properly mounted and secure, not cracked, bent, or broken. And also I have to make sure there's no less than 1/4 of an inch of brake material, and there's no oil and no grease. So they're in good condition. Brake system is good. Next, my inside rim. It is properly mounted and secure, not cracked, bent, or broken, and there's no illegal wells. Okay, now I'm gonna check my front tire. I'm gonna check my 3 sides of the tires. Inside wall, outside wall, and the front part of the tire. They're properly mounted and secured to the rim. There's no cuts, bubbles, or abrasions. There's no nails, no screws. Tire is good. Now, my front tire must be original, never recapped. And the tread depth, I have to make sure there's no less than 4/32, and it is good. And also, I have to make sure that my tire it is properly inflated according to manufacturer specification. It's good. Okay, next check is going to be my valve stem. It is properly mounted and secured, not cracked, bent, or broken, and it's not leaking, so it is good. Next check, my outside rim. It is properly mounted and secured, not cracked, bent, or broken, and there's no illegal wells. Okay, next check is going to be my 10 lug nuts. All of them are properly mounted and secured. They're not cracked, bent, or broken, and there's no rust indicating looseness of my lug nuts. All of them are present and tight. Next check, my hub seal. It is properly mounted and secured, not cracked, bent, or broken. All my nuts and bolts are present and tight, and it's not leaking. There's oil inside to lubricate my axle, and I have to make sure that it's filled to correct level. Ok, aquí termina letra A. Entonces tú debes saber que terminó letra A aquí. Ya nada más le dices al examiner, man, sir, let's move now to the coupling system.